Last year I recorded a video very similar to this one. I had about 8 or 9 players that I thought were draft sleepers. And let's just say a lot of them are on second teams or trying to find their way on to a practice squad right now. Other than Keaton Mitchell, shout out to my one hit from last year. So this year I decided to go harder, watch more games, look at more guys that are projected 5th to 7th round, even undrafted guys. And we're gonna see which ones I hit on, because you never know who's the next Brock Purdy, who's the next guy that's gonna be slept on, picked, and then have an amazing career. Tom Brady, right? Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna start off with a man out of Georgia Southern named Caleb Hood. Caleb Hood, 101 receptions, 948 yards, 5 touchdowns for an average of 9.4 yards per reception. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. Senior. He broke the Georgia Southern receptions in year record, 101, 948 yards, and he also had 3 carries, 23 yards. Pretty decent. He had a good year last year as well, 925 yards, 87 catches, so pretty consistent. 40 less catches than that, with about 500 yards in 2021. So as you see, when he gets more catches, he's going to get more yards. He just needs an opportunity. He is projected. There is no available information, which is really a 5 to 7 round projection, right? That's kind of what Purdy and other people were. Those guys you see 7th round picks, they're usually projected 5 to 7, or you just can't find it. If you can find and it says undrafted, that means that they don't even think these guys are really on any NFL team's radar at all. So Caleb Hood is at least on some team's radar, but we don't know whose. But whoever it is, he is good. Now, a guy with similar numbers, actually 100 yards less, but one more touchdown, is Jamari Thrash out of Louisville. I watched this guy dominate. And I mean dominate the Indiana Hoosiers this year. You guys don't think I pay attention to Hoosiers anymore. I still do a little bit. He is another guy who didn't lose a fumble. 13.6 yards per catch. 6 touchdowns. Last year he balled out 1,100 yards. 1 more touchdown than this year. But he still has the explosive big play ability. And I think if he puts it all together, he will be a danger. We're getting sent to all sort of different websites. He's 6'1", 185. So he's very skinny, but my goodness, if he gets out on you, you're done. Next, we get to the guy who was rejected as undrafted. Sam Pinckney had 72 catches for 1,027 yards. That should be jaw-dropping. 14.3 yards per catch, 8 touchdowns. So far, that's the best statistical guy we've talked about. Problem is, he's a little bit older. He's been playing college ball since 2018, so he's roughly 23 or 24. So you're getting an older receiver, right? But he never lost a fumble either. 72 catches, 1,027. Last year, 71 catches, 996. I don't know, honestly, why he came back. Right? Don't know why he came back. But like, this is a guy who's just been consistent. 47 catches, 815 in 2020. Which is incredible. That was a shortened season, right? 2021 seems like he got injured. 27 catches, 311 for only 1 touchdown. By the way, that 2020 year, he had 7 touchdowns. He regressed in touchdowns last year, but 14 yards per catch. I mean, every single year, look, 12 yards per catch in 2019, 17 yards, 11 yards, 14.3. This is a guy who's going to get you catches over the middle. He's gonna get over. He reminds me a lot of Michael Pittman, 6'4", 220, and he's projected to be undrafted. People don't even think he's going to get drafted. Sam Pinckney out of Coastal Carolina, you're a dog. We're going to see what people think. Next up, Steel Chambers. This is a guy who, if he went and got drafted last year, I wouldn't have been surprised. Last year's stats, 45 solo tackles, 2 sacks, 2 interceptions, 2 pass deflections, right? That's pretty good. On 77 tackles this year, 6 more tackles, 4 less solo, 10 more assisted though. He had no sacks. He had 1 interception versus 2 last year. and he had one pass deflection first three last year. So some of his numbers regressed, but his overall tackling got better. And he's just the guy that you hear making big plays. A big tackle late in the third, big tackle in the fourth quarter. Steel Chambers, watch out for him. 6'1", 232 out of Roswell, Georgia. Next up is a guy you know for sure out of Greenville, Mississippi. It says 6', 218, Dylan Johnson, running back out of Washington. He is projected, by the way, Steel Chambers projected 5 to 7 round. So he's getting very stepped on. Dylan Johnson is projected as a 4th rounder. Early or late, doesn't really matter. But this year he just broke out, right? So last 2 years prior, 89 carries, 485, 89 carries, 488. Consistent, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. This year, 5 yards per carry, 1,195 yards on 233 carries, 53 long. He also had 24 catches for 190, which is receiving stuff went down, but his average on his receiving went up. He was 6.5, 5.9 the last 2 years. Bam, all the way up to about 8 yards per catch. This is a guy who is just overall very slept on to me. I know I picked a guy who made it to the championship and lost last year. Who was that? I don't even remember who that was. It was the TCU running back. That did not pan out yet, right? It's only the rookie years, right? So let's chill out on saying that all those guys who I said were being slept on. Because sometimes you just need a perfect role. You need to get traded, whatever. But Dylan Johnson, 4th rounder. A guy who I've been keeping my eye on forever is Will Shipley. And by forever, I mean since 2021 when he broke out. So the first year, he had 149 carries, 739 yards, 11 touchdowns. With 16 catches for 116. I was like, this dude's a dog. Last year, crazy year. 210, 1,182 yards. 53 was his long. He had 38 catches, 242. Dog, right? 15 touchdowns last year, by the way. This year, 167 carries, which is less than what he had last year. 827 yards, 5 touchdowns. So he regressed a little bit, but he had 244 yards receiving, 31 catches, 8 yards per catch. Again, he's another guy whose catches are getting better, and he had 2 touchdowns catching the ball. So he got better there, so 7 touchdowns overall, right? Will Shipley's a guy, I hate to just compare him to McCaffrey because I feel like I'm doing that because he's a white guy. I'm not. Will Shipley's a dog. I really, really love the way he plays football. 5'11", 210, played for Clemson. He's projected as a 4th rounder. And just for him to be kind of regressing, like I feel like he would have been projected as a 2nd round pick if he would have went in the draft last year, but he decided to stay here. I think that was the right thing. I think his game got better, but I think it silently got better. So, Will Shipley, wish you the best luck. Cade Stover, last guy I want to talk about. Tight end at Ohio State. 41 catches, 576 with 5 touchdowns. This is another guy who just stays consistent. He had 36 catches, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns last year. So, pretty consistent. But his average per catch is went up 3 yards. Built like a linebacker, 6'4", 251. He's a hometown kid to Ohio. I have 2 Buckeyes on here, which is weird because I'm really not a fan of Ohio State. But I can respect when good teams have good players. I've been paying attention to Cade since last year. Watch out for him. He's a round 3 projection. Shocking that he's above Will Shipley and Dylan Johnson. But again, we'll see what these people know. But that's why I'm saying these guys are being slept on. So I want to end this video by saying 2 things. Number 1, I am going to have a video I'm going to try with all 8 of these guys and some of their highlights with some background music, whatever. I'm probably going to do non-copyright. Tired of getting my edits copyrighted. But number 1, which of these guys are the most slept on? Which of them do I really think are going to be the breakouts? So I can't hide and be like, oh, look, one of them, one of them I really believed in. Because I was super high on Deuce Vaughn. I remember I said that a ton. He didn't really get his shot, though, in my opinion. I have 4 guys starred. Number 1 is Jamari Thrash. Okay? I have Thrash starred. And Why do I have Jamari Thrash start? Just because I think he's a speed threat. He's going to get behind the defense. He's going to take the top off some defenses. And whoever takes him is probably going to be a team that passed on some other receivers. They're going to get gashed for it. But Thrash is going to thrash other teams. He is amazing. Next thing I have is Pinckney. I know he's a little bit older. But if he gets picked maybe 5th or 6th round and he gets used, he's going to win a roster spot. He's aggressive. He has some of the best hands. I remember putting him on because I saw him make 3 incredible catches during a game against, I think, Appalachian State. So, really, really good player in Pinckney. Next up, I had Steel Chambers because he reminds me of Zaire Franklin for the Colts. He makes tackles. He makes plays. He might not wow you, flashy, but he's going to make big plays in big moments. Steel Chambers. And lastly, I have Will Shipley. I think Will Shipley is amazing. I think last year is way more of who he is than this year. I think he's going to make a big impact. I do want to say Ennis Ragshaw is going to make more of an impact right away than these other guys, but I don't have him being as much of a star or breakout potential as these other guys. I just think it's easier to become a great cornerback because that's a place where you're going to get put in to being a starting cornerback right away. No questions asked. You're our day one cornerback. Go ahead, make a play for us, right? So that's what I got for you guys. Don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but yeah. Have a great day, have a great night, have a great morning, whenever you're watching.